Hi. Antarctica is one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. It's incredibly cold, with temperatures reaching as low as -90 degrees Celsius. There's also very little air to breathe, and no food or water. Yet some people have managed to survive in Antarctica for months at a time. And we know that various countries, including the United States, have secret bases on the continent. But what else could be lurking beneath the ice? Could there be an entire lost empire hidden from view? When Ernest Shackleton set out to explore Antarctica in the early 20th century, he was looking for something specific. He wanted to find a lost civilization that had supposedly lived in the region thousands of years before. Shackleton didn't believe that humans could have ever lived in Antarctica, but he decided to search anyway. He sailed around the continent looking for evidence of human habitation, such as tools, weapons, or even buildings. All he found was a single rock monolith that looked like it had been carved by human hands. This monolith, now known as the Shackleton Monument, is still standing on Ross Island, and nobody knows who built it. In recent years, scientists have become more convinced that people did live in Antarctica in prehistoric times. In fact, they may have even formed an entire society there. But how could this have happened? After all, Antarctica is one of the coldest places on Earth, and it would be incredibly difficult to survive there without modern technology. One theory is that Antarctica was once much warmer than it is today. If this is true, then it would have been possible for plants and animals to live there, which would have meant that humans could have survived there as well. Evidence for this theory comes from fossils found in Antarctica of ancient creatures that could not have lived in the freezing, cold temperatures. The fossils suggest that Antarctica was once part of a larger landmass that was connected to South America, Africa, and Australia. At the time, Antarctica was much warmer than it is today and had a milder climate that was more like that of New Zealand. However, as the supercontinent of Gondwana broke up about 180 million years ago, Antarctica began to drift southwards, and the climate became colder. Eventually, it reached its current position and became the frozen desert we know today. Another theory is that Antarctica was once covered in a thick layer of ice. This would have made it much easier for people to survive there, because the ice would have provided them with fresh water to drink and also helped to keep them warm. Evidence for this theory comes from ice cores taken from the continent, which show that there have been several ice ages in Antarctica's past. During these ice ages, the temperature would have been low enough for humans to survive. However, as the climate warmed again, the ice would have melted, and the humans would have been forced to flee. There's also evidence that Antarctica was once home to a variety of indigenous peoples, each with their own language and culture. For example, there are petroglyphs on the continent that date back thousands of years. These petroglyphs depict animals, humans, and other symbols. Nobody knows who created them, but it's clear that the people who did were highly skilled artists. Other explorers have also come forward with stories of strange structures they've seen in Antarctica. One explorer claimed to have seen a massive wall that stretched for miles across the continent. Others have reported seeing pyramids and other man-made objects that defy explanation. Many of these claims have been dismissed as the product of overactive imaginations or as hoaxes. However, there is one explorer whose story cannot be so easily dismissed. His name was Admiral Richard E. Byrd, and he was the leader of the United States Antarctic Service Expedition of 1933 to 1935. Byrd was a highly respected and experienced explorer who had previously led expeditions to both the North Pole and the South Pole. So when he claimed to have discovered evidence of a lost civilization in Antarctica, the world took notice. Byrd and his team found ruins that appeared to be the remnants of a once great city. They found buildings, roads, and other structures that were unlike anything they had seen before. Byrd estimated that the city had been built by a highly advanced civilization that had possessed knowledge of concrete and steel. He believed that the civilization had been wiped out by a natural disaster, such as a volcanic eruption or a tsunami. Despite the importance of his discovery, Byrd kept quiet about it for fear of ridicule. He didn't want to be laughed at for believing in a lost civilization in Antarctica. It wasn't until after he retired that he began to speak out about what he had seen. In 1947, Byrd wrote a book called The People of the Fifth Race. In it, he shared his belief that Antarctica was once home to a highly advanced civilization that had been wiped out by a natural disaster. According to Byrd, the civilization had been living in peace and harmony with each other and with nature. They had developed advanced technology, but they had not used it to harm the environment. Instead, they had used it to help themselves and others. Bird believed that the civilization had been destroyed by a sudden and violent event that killed off most of its members. He said that the event had been so traumatic that it caused the survivors to flee to other parts of the world. Bird believed that the civilization had existed in other parts of the world. He believed that the civilization had existed in other parts of the world before coming to Antarctica, and that they had brought their advanced knowledge with them. Bird's claims were met with a mixture of skepticism and excitement. Many people did not believe him, but others were intrigued by his story. Some people even began to search for evidence of a lost civilization in Antarctica. However, nothing concrete was ever found, and eventually the story faded from public memory. Bird's claims were not the only ones that had been made about a lost civilization in Antarctica. Over the years, there have been many explorers and scientists who have come forward with stories of strange discoveries they've made on the continent. Some of these stories are more credible than others, but all of them add to the mystery of Antarctica and make us wonder what else could be lurking beneath the ice. For example, there's the story of the Taylor Glacier anomaly. In 1970, satellite images revealed a strange black area on the Taylor Glacier. The anomaly has since been named the Black Gash, and it remains a complete mystery. Some believe it could be a portal to another dimension, or even another world. Others believe it's simply a natural phenomenon that we don't understand yet. Then there's the story of the Ellsworth Mountains. In 1935, American aviator Lincoln Ellsworth flew over the Ellsworth Range and spotted what appeared to be a network of roads. He reported this to the United States Navy, but no one investigated further. To this day, the roads remain a mystery. Some believe they were built by a lost civilization, while others believe they may have been left behind by aliens. Finally, there's the story of the Ronco mummy. In 1960, a group of Chilean scientists was conducting an experiment in Antarctica when they came across a strange humanoid figure. The figure appeared to be mummified, and it was unlike anything the scientists had seen before. The scientists nicknamed the figure the Ronco mummy, and they believe it could be the preserved body of a member of a lost civilization. These are just a few of the many mysteries that surround Antarctica. There's no doubt that the continent is hiding many secrets, but what are they? Perhaps one day we will discover evidence of a lost civilization that once thrived in Antarctica. Or maybe the continent is hiding something even more mysterious, something that defies our understanding of the world. Till then, Antarctica will continue to fascinate and intrigue us. Its icy plains and frozen wastelands will continue to be a source of mystery and wonder. Thanks for watching. What do you think is going on in Antarctica? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.